Okay.
Go ahead.
So therefore I choose the title Distrust the Hype, and I would like to give you a short insight in what we at Foresee think about in the future of workplace, but not so specifically what you saw before. So we are not talking about floor plans and stuff like that. We are talking about something like a so-called digital high. The problem nowadays is that in the economy we are living in, it's like a huge house party, but not at 8 o'clock in the kitchen, but let's say 3 o'clock in the morning. The problem is that, of course, there are interesting things happens, but the problem is to listen carefully, because most of the innovation that will take place within the next 10 years, let's say, are already here. So that's the good news. So we just have to listen carefully and observe carefully. But the problem, of course, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a party like this one here. So this is the most important topic to do, just to look closely what will probably influence the future. And I would like to divide what I have to talk about shortly in just 20 minutes into 4 sections. Basically, today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and yesterday. So the problem is most of the time that people refer to the distant future. They say, okay, what's your future vision? So the press is always asking us, okay, what's the future of the workplace? There was a fair 2 years ago, the biggest office furniture fair, Worktech in Cologne. They introduced Office 2030. And my first reaction was, who cares, actually? So it's far away. I can tell you everything about the distant future. What people don't like to do is look for tomorrow, because tomorrow is already tomorrow. So we have to start today. That's the problem. And of course, we come from somewhere, so we have to look back as well. So let's first have a look back to yesterday. I just reduced it to 2 notions I would like to point out here. And this one is a couple of years ago, and still today, people think, okay, we are living in the digital world, but we are not living in the digital world. We still live in the real world. So these kind of territorial allocation is important. So you're coming here, you're sitting here, I'm talking. So we have a certain kind of setup. So, and this allows me to talk and you to listen, or get tired, hopefully not. But the best example for that are the old cloisters, where they have for every single task, they have a different room, a different kind of space, and I think most of the time this is ignored, not with the examples we saw today, but most of the time it's ignored that we need space. And if I'm sitting on a table and work, like our table outside, it's different than listen to a presentation, of course. We are doing a lot of technology, but I don't believe that any technology can replace what we are doing as humans. So let's say not within the next 30 years. So, and we don't care what comes after that. So we have to take that into account. So people would like to travel, to meet, to discuss things together, and not being replaced by technologies. It will take a lot of time. And what is interesting about technology, everybody can say everything about that. And Bill Buxton, he's a user experience expert, he once had this nice quote to say, okay, why you are not need to refer to the history of technology if you talk about the present? So that's what I said. Vision about technology is not a very meaningful question. Okay, just shortly, just jump to the day after. This is usually, so this is, yeah, in 2 days. This is actually what's called a vision, more or less. There's a nice German quote, I think it's from our Chancellor, Helmut Schmidt, ex-Chancellor. He said, if you have visions, you should go and see the doctor. You know this guy, probably. He's still the Microsoft boss, but you don't have to listen to what he says. He is praising the cloud computing. Why is he doing that? Because he earns money with that. So if you believe him, this is a vision of the future society in terms of technology, you believe in his business model. So he's earning money with that. So listening to tech guys is always a problem. Even Apple, so to say. I'm a big Apple fan, but not so much anymore. But so even there, they are a technology company. They are focused on their ecosystem. So, and if you just look to Google and Apple, etc., you are focusing on the technology company. Their vision of the future, not ours as humans. There are other people who are even better in predicting a distant future, like Richard Feynman. You can read it for yourself. The interesting thing here is he said it in 1959, so far away in the past. Everybody knows that. It's one of the many examples I collect about movies. The good thing is these kind of filmmakers don't care in any way about what is possible to do. They are just focusing on what would be a good wish, what you would like to have. And the second thing is they believe in something like storytelling. They want us to be in the movie. So you probably watched movies in the past where you see some piece of technology and say, this is silly. It never works. So these guys stick to the notion of making us as best as possible so that you are just watching the movie and don't say, okay, this is silly. We can go back very far to see the first video conference ever in a movie. It's from Fritz Lang, 1927. Still doesn't work the way we thought, but there are really interesting examples. These guys were able to envision something like video conferencing, so he's doing it with his employee without any computer, iPads, smartphones, or whatever. Just let's summarize it together and use some buzzwords. This is the future of technology. It sounds complex, but I don't go to the details here, but these are the things like augmented reality. The computer will move into our world, not the other way around. So we don't get part of the computer like in Second Life. Ubiquitous computing means computers are everywhere. So there are so many computers now in that place here. You couldn't imagine 2 years ago, probably. The computer needs to disappear, and one of the best quote ever is what Mark Weiser said. The most profound technologies are those that disappear from our consciousness. So they are still there, but so everybody lost his smartphone, so it's not a piece of technology anymore. And last but not least, Internet of Things. I have to hurry up a bit, so because of the time. If a lot of people say, okay, in the office that is not possible, so computers are complex, if you're asking the IT department, you can answer something like that. It's possible, even with 200 miles per hour, at least in Germany. It is possible to integrate so many computers in one place with different operating system. You don't see any of these computers in the car, and it still drives, and everybody can use that. This is a benchmark for office design, I would say. I'm not an office designer. So let's have a look at today. This is a really bad story, as you know. So you're all having conferences, meetings, and so on. And I just pick a couple of examples. So what we have here, I think personally, the digital projector is one of the most overestimated tools ever. So it's replaced an overhead projector with a digital version, but not more. It even you even can't annotate. Some people might remember this kind of overhead projection, So it's very much overestimated. And if you ask for technology, you get technology, stuff like this here, so in the conference room. You might say, okay, we have nicer conference rooms. I don't know whether you observed that more and more people, again, use paper in a conference. So I see over the last 5 or 10 years that they get rid of the computers, laptops, and they are using paper again. So for a reason, because there's no other alternative. We are not talking just about the quality of work, but also about a lot of huge potential to save time and money, because the meeting itself is analog. There's almost no conference room in the world without a flip chart. And this is the oldest tool ever. So, and we are using paper, we're making paper notes and so on. Who doesn't have a flip chart in his conference room? Who's still awake? Okay. So we are wasting always a lot of time and money to overcome the media gap between digital and real, or analog and digital again. Just think about the time quoted there. So the time you spend on overcoming this gap between digital and analog technology. This is actually a video, an image I got from a website from a video conferencing company. So it's not, I didn't search for a special stupid one, but this is. Okay, no further comment. I also found this advertisement in a newspaper, news magazine, and look, he's looking in that way, so he's surprised somehow how stupid technology can be sometimes. So, of course, the projector has a really good resolution and stuff like that, but who cares, actually? This is really funny. I have to translate it. It's from the most important office magazine in Germany. And this guy said there, if there are people in your company who are not able to interact with the technology, you might think about replacing them. You know, not replace technology, but replace the people. The magazine actually is called Menschenbüro in German. It's human and office. You know, so strange. If you ask designers, any designers here? Okay. If you ask designers, you get something nice. This was the best-selling mobile phone for Motorola. But I had this, a lot of people probably too, and it was not usable at all, you know. So the keypad was bad, and the menu was bad, it was slow, and so on. And this is another topic for another conference, the long fail of design. But I can't talk about this here right now. But I think a huge topic for all of us is design. So, and we have only a limited ability for design. Maybe not that way. If you ask your agency about a concept, you get stuff like that, you know. So there's no article in the world about the future of the internet, etc. Not quoting that if you buy something at Amazon, it proposed to you that somebody bought that too, you know. I bought for my daughter, I bought this artificial hair, and now I get always proposed to buy artificial hair, so it's not for me. So, you know, so. And that's the problem with the reality, but a lot of other examples might be probably feasible too there. Okay, let's have a look at tomorrow. So you can say, okay, he can talk about that, all this, but what could be a solution? And of course we have one. The normal way we see technology today is that way. Technology, design, human. There is a piece of technology, some fancy software or hardware. We put some design, not fancy, but we put some design over it, and then we give it to the user and say, okay, you have to deal with that. And then they get training and so on, and they are not able to use the software, and they get another training and so on. This should be the past. The future, of course, should be the other way around. So we as humans are the most important ones, not the computer. The good thing is technology can do almost everything today, except beaming maybe. So from that point of view, there's no limitation in technology, what is doable today. And the combining part is design, so between us and all this technology stuff. Humans are the measure of all things, and technology will save us, actually. This is one of my most favorite images. If you do something without the user in mind, you know, so this happens. So it's a quite old image I used for a long time. You see, it's not a good quality. But it shows two things. First of all, they find their way. If you create an office space which is not suitable for the user, they don't care. They do something else. And the second message here is you may not even recognize that. So here you recognize it only if it's snowing or if it's wet, you know. So you might think, okay, this office concept works terrifically, so really good. Our market research is showing us it works great, you know. But the truth is something like that, you know. Okay, so dialogue, interactivity is the most important part. So getting people involved, but not in front of their computer, not in front of their iPad, which is only a different kind of computer actually, but as humans in meetings collaboratively, but also connected via different locations. We started a cooperation with IBM. 5 minutes left. Oh, I get that. For a project for our client Continental, and what you see in that video is more or less one solution. I don't say we have all the solutions. One solution you can also try out at the lobby, where we try to orient ourselves on what is supporting the interaction of human people, of us humans. So how easy it is to start a video conference like this here. It's a bit dark, so you have to watch it outside. And how an interactive interface can look like. So what is where you are able to use it collaboratively, work on a very simple level, with documents, integrated with your network, integrated with different kind. I switched on the audio. I didn't want that. It's nice audio, but we don't need. Who's doing that? I don't do anything? Okay. So you see here that these kind of multi-touch interaction, what you know from the iPad actually, is also working that way, where you can discuss the documents you are working with. So there's no use for video conferencing if then you send the documents to all the people before they print it out, and everybody sitting in front of their own copy of the document, making their own annotations on the document, not shared. So somebody might have an interesting idea, but it's not shared, so the other persons don't see that. Here the idea is about doing that together on these documents, connecting to other people in a video conference, but in the most easiest way possible, just tapping on the image. So technology gets human somehow. Okay, so, and one last example just to give you, this is a banking example, so because banking is also about trust and collaboration, etc., but only to give you an idea about, most recent interfaces and designs could look like. And of course we don't have a Windows interface on the table, but something like this here, where it looks completely different how you interact with digital data. And now there are 3 minutes left, I think, and you could have the chance to ask questions. I was asked to ask you to ask questions, actually, and to leave some time for that, actually. So otherwise, thanks for listening. I hope you had a good lunch and a good after lunch. And we have another panel discussion later on with more questions, probably. Any question? No. Nobody raised their hand. Okay, thank you.